Before you start listening, I would like to say a quick apology for all the background noise. We were in a coffee shop and it was hard to filter that noise out. You can still hear us okay, so this is just a quick apology in advance, and enjoy the podcast.
All right, hello and welcome to the NoeKnowsBlogs podcast, episode 7. Today I'm here with Brett Friedman, the PTSA president. And first, I would just like to say thank you to her for taking time to interview with me. So,
thank you so much. Thanks for having me, Lucinda.
The first question that I do have for you is, what is your position on the PTSA?
My position is president. I've been a parent at No for 6 years, and I've been on the PTSA most of that time, and I've been president for the last 3 years.
Yeah, so what does being president entail?
That's a great question. So we have an amazing PTSA at No. It's really big. We have about I think we have 50 members on our board, and of them, about 15 to 20 are very active and coming to monthly meetings and doing their own projects when in between times. So as the president, it's my job to coordinate that, make sure that everything's getting done, to lead the meetings when we have them, and just sort of follow through and make sure that things are moving along. I also work a lot with Mr. Gribbins, who's the PTSA liaison for No, and so if there's something coming from No that they would like done, then he'll usually give me a call and we'll talk about it. Or if there's something that we have questions about, then I'll reach out to him and find out what the best way is to go about getting that done.
Sounds like a really busy job. Is being president your only job, or do you have a other job basically?
I'm a web designer, and so my family used to live in New York, and when I lived in New York I worked full-time, but since moving to Louisville about 15 years ago and having kids, I work on a freelance basis now, so I'm only working. I work sporadically. Sometimes I work a lot, sometimes I work a little. So right now I'm in a phase of working just a little. I recently did a project for a local company, and I did their web and their logo and a newsletter, things like that. But so doing the work for the No PTSA gives me an opportunity to have a connection with the school and know what's going on. And it is a bit of work, but it's not overwhelming, and it makes it worth it.
So what does the S in PTSA mean?
It's a great question. The S is for students. And one of the things that I think Kentucky does is that when you get to middle school, they involve students in the PTSA, or they have that term in there. It's called a PTSA, not a PTA anymore, which it's called in elementary school. And so part of that is because students can join from the time you're 12. And so part of that might be a money-making thing, that the more people they can get involved, the more that they sort of make. But we always would love to have students in. So at No, we do, you haven't been here for a regular year, but we typically do 2 membership dances in each year where all students who are No PTSA members can come, and we have a dance after school with a DJ, and it's a lot of fun. But that's obviously not happening right now. But one of the struggles one of the challenges that we struggle with is how to get students involved. We would love to have students involved, but with No being such a big school, there's 435 kids in each grade, and we've talked about having a student from each grade involved in PTSA, but there's not really one student who can represent all of 435 kids when typically they don't all even know each other. And so we are actively interested if anybody has ideas. So if we like to think that we have an open door. So if students are interested in doing a project, we would love them to come to us and get involved.
That sounds very doable, and you could have a person from each team possibly, because I'm pretty sure there's 12 teams, maybe?
Yeah, 12 plus champions.
But why do you think it's significant to include students?
Well, students are really obviously the lifeblood of the school, right? They know what's going on and what other people are interested in, and so we're sort of in the background, and we have these dances and events, and like we think that they're things that students like, but you and people, your age are obviously much closer to this and would know really what people are interested in. So it would be really helpful to have students involved and sort of give us your perspective on what's going on and what you'd like to do.
And if anybody listening is interested in joining the PTSA or becoming more interested, there will be a link in the description. So what can No students do to get involved with the PTSA?
So if there's a particular idea that somebody has, I would encourage you sending me an email. Like if somebody wanted to organize, I'd like to say an event, but this year it's a little challenging with events. So it would be more like if somebody wanted to organize, I can't really think of many things for right now. So like in a typical year, if somebody was like, it would be fun to do this, and then, we could support that either as an after-school event or something during the day. We do support charity events. If somebody has an idea of a way to help, then we would fully support that. But really just if somebody, or somebody or a group of people have an idea, then just to reach out to us and we could talk separately. Or you're always welcome to come to one of our meetings. Most of our meetings are during the school day, but it would be okay to come out of class if there was something that you wanted to present to the group.
Yeah, okay, so of course any links that is needed for that will be down in the description, as well as Ms. Friedman's email address. So what is the PTSA's main goal in No?
Our main goal is to support the school and the teachers. So, and that can be either financially or, with assistance in doing something. So one of the things that we started last year that I love is we started a program called Teacher Grants, and it's that any teacher or group of teachers can get together and fill out a form and get up to $500 to use towards a project or program. So one of my favorites is Mr. Lecklider on the Innovators. He had an idea to build are you an innovator? Okay, yeah. Okay, yeah. So to build a hydroponic garden. And so he filled out the form and, went ahead and he did it during pandemic. He had the fish tanks all ready and built it around, and it's amazing. So, some of the other things are like Ms. JJ and our dance teacher. They had guest artists come in last year during pandemic. They were virtual. But there's programs that we can help support with financially, and then also if a teacher or team needs some additional help, we can sometimes round people up to do that as well.
Yeah, it sounds like a very productive thing. Last year was challenging for teachers, staff, students, and parents due to remote learning. What were some of the challenges the PTSA faced, and what did you find was the key to keeping the PTSA's goal in focus?
Very good question. So we would meet monthly last year, and we would meet virtually, and we'd go around, and we have different departments in the PTSA. So one is hospitality, and hospitality helps out like this staff and doing food for events, and one is dance, and one is beautification, which does the outside. But we have all these departments, and we would go around, and it would be the dance department, and they'd be like, we have nothing to report again, because there's no events, there's no dances, but we felt sort of stuck last year that we couldn't do more, but I think everybody sort of felt that way. So we tried to do what we could, and like when the teachers went back in like just before spring break to get their classes ready, we were able to have our hospitality group at least get some snacks together for them and some little bags saying thank you. So it was definitely a challenging year, but for everybody, and we just mostly as a group felt bad that we couldn't do more to help, because we were just sort of sitting around and and everybody was struggling and challenging a bit, and we felt like we wanted to help, but we couldn't so much.
I feel like that's how a lot of people felt last year.
That is true.
What are some things that the PTSA has planned for this year or wants to plan?
So we just had our fundraiser, and it was amazing. We did significantly better than we expected to do. Our goal was $25,000, and we made over $32,000. And typically after our fundraiser, we have what's called Cougar Bash, and it's a dance, and it's a glow dance, and there's a student-teacher basketball game. And so we have been trying to think of ways that we could like COVIDize that before we had the fundraiser. But the information from JCPS was that we couldn't really do that. So one of the things we're hoping is we're still planning to do it. It's just going to happen like after the winter. So it would probably have to be outside. It's typically been inside in the cafeteria, but it would have to be outside. But it would be maybe April-ish, and then hopefully by then, with the vaccine coming out for younger kids, hopefully the numbers would be down and we would be able to do something like that. So that's our hope. Further down the road, we do have an 8th grade dance at the end of each year, and we weren't able to do that for the last 2 years. We really hope that we could do that this year. But we also have some smaller things, like we're having a beautification day on November 6th, which is a Saturday, and that's for families to come to the school and just do some outdoor yard work and make the school look good. Our hospitality always has some events going on, helping out staff meetings, and our spirit wear department has been doing amazing. I don't know if you have any school spirit wear, but we've had some really great designs this year, and some designs done by students, which are beautiful and amazing and speak to all the talent that is at No.
Yeah, I know that the spirit wear designed by students, we announced that on the blog, and there's the link and everything for that. So how do you join the PTSA as a student, staff member, or parent?
So there's a link on NoePTSA.com is our website, and there's a link to join. It's $5, and then you're a member. So you could be just a member, or you could be an active member. And if you want to be an active member, then you would just reach out to me or to somebody else on the PTSA, and we would figure out the best way to get you involved.
All right, and once again, all the links are going to be down in the description. So what would you tell somebody, a student, staff member, or parent, who's interested in getting more involved with the PTSA or just wants to learn more about it?
So I would say so I think that they're all a little bit different. So for a parent, No is a very big school. It's the largest middle school in JCPS, and it's a great way to sort of stay connected to what's going on and know what your students are doing. So I think for parents, it's a really great thing. For teachers, it's just they have the opportunity to do the teacher grants, and there's money there for them, and there's things that we do for the teachers. We provide meals on days of parent-teacher conferences, and at the holidays, and at the end, at the end of year and stuff. So there's a bunch we do for teachers because we really appreciate them. Students are where we are challenged the most and would love to grow. So we are totally up for ideas and involvement. We just struggle with the best way to do that. So, if a student wants to get involved, again, absolutely send me a note and we can figure out the best way to do that. But we would love to have more of a student presence in the PTSA.
Yeah, of course. And I know currently we have around 160 subscribers, so I think we can definitely get some people to join. What do you find, or has anyone shared, what has been the most rewarding about their participation in the PTSA?
I would say from my point of view, it's just, knowing what's going on at the school. With both of my kids being there at different times, and then I would go to a meeting, and Miss Cave comes to the beginning of the meetings, and she gives us an overview of what's going on from the staff perspective. It's been very helpful, and then sometimes I can come home and say, oh, did you guys know that this was happening? And my kids might not know, or they may know, it just may have not been something that they mentioned, but it's really helpful to know what's going on. Trying to think of something that's been rewarding to somebody else. I know that our hospitality coordinator or hospitality chairperson like she came in on parent-teacher conferences with her kids and was able to bring the lunches to the teachers. And she said it was just really amazing being there and, seeing the staff members and them appreciating, what we do.
Yeah, that sounds very rewarding. What is your personal favorite thing about being involved in the PTSA?
I would say I've met really some amazing people because, in elementary school, parents are very involved and come to events. And then you go to middle school and parents are not so involved. The kids want to get out and do things on their own, and that's totally understandable. So as a parent, there's not really a great way to meet other parents. But through the PTSA, I've met some really wonderful people and I've made some friendships, and I feel like that has helped me as a parent and as a person.
So, just completely unrelated to the PTSA, what's your favorite thing to do when you're not involved with the PTSA or when you're off? Like, what's any hobbies or something like that?
That's a great question. What are hobbies? No. So I like to do puzzles, and been watching some shows, and I like to go walking. It's really nice to be outside and get around. I'm not from Louisville, so sometimes, when I go out walking and, seeing things, it's like, oh, this is all new. But it's, it's been a great experience being here.
Yeah. And then last question we have actually asking our readers a lot. What's your favorite Halloween candy?
Good question. So I actually love Mounds, which I know is not a favorite. People typically prefer Almond Joys, but I like the dark chocolate, and I like the coconut, and I like the no nut. So I would have to go with Mounds. What's your favorite?
I like the candies that are basically horrible for your teeth. So like Milk Duds and Laffy Taffies and like basically dentist's worst nightmares. Like the dentists don't like me when I tell them my favorite candy.
That's so funny.
Well, that's all the questions I have for you. So thank you so much for being here. And to our listeners, remember that on the blog we have a section for the PTSA, so make sure to check that. And we also include updates in our weekly newsletter. Is there anything else you'd like to say?
I just want to say thank you so much for having me, and I'm looking forward to any work that we can do in the future. And to anyone out there who wants to be involved, we would love to have you involved. And as things start to get back to normal, we hope to see more of you. So thank you so much, Lucinda.
Thank you. All right, so thank you so much for listening, and we'll see you next time.